Alright, so now we're ready to start adding some details to our house, and we're going to start by adding in the windows. So let's begin with this window right here. So I'm just going to start by sketching in this outline of the window right here. Okay, so it's basically just a normal rectangle shape, except there's going to be a slight curve up on top. And make sure to keep this side of the rectangle slightly higher so that the bottom edge will be slanting downward so that it converges towards the vanishing point. So this here is actually our horizon line. So the window is slightly above it. So there will still be some convergence going on. And also up on top, make sure that this corner is slightly higher than this corner right here. And we can even straighten it out with our ruler if you want. Alright, so after we have that drawn in, the next step is to draw in this inner frame in the window. It's just going to be a regular straight rectangle shape. So I'm just going to sketch it in right here. And now I'm just going to draw two smaller and thinner rectangle shape right in the middle here in order to create the window frames. Okay, so there it is. I went ahead and connected this side, this little window opening here, all the way back to the edge to create the effect that the window is turned, and so that side of that little bit of window right there is covered up. And just remember to give a slight slant to the top and bottom edge. And now we're just going to take our ruler and draw a thin line across here to create that little piece of wood that goes across the window. Alright, so I'm just going to add a little diagonal connector here to connect this corner of the window to the outer frame to give it a three-dimensional effect. And now we'll just sketch in this little shape right on top. Alright, and now we're going to add in that little brick ledge right at the bottom of the window. It's pretty close to the horizon line, so there won't be as much convergence going on, so you can just draw it almost straight. And if you want to, you can actually extend the bush a little bit to have it cover up some of this window. I think that would actually look better, since it would add some overlapping to our drawing, and that always creates a nice 3D effect. So I'm just going to overlap some of the bushes over the window. So now let's put in this window right over here. So once again, I'm just going to start out by drawing in a rectangular shape. Alright, and now I'm just going to put a border around it like this, and then connect this corner here to this corner with a diagonal line to give it that 3D effect. And now we'll just draw in those little window frame. And now we'll put in a little brick ledge on the bottom of the window. Okay, and that's it. So now let's use that same procedure to draw this window right here on the bottom. And just make sure to keep the two windows vertically aligned. So I'm just going to take my ruler and line it up with the top window and mark out where my second window is going to be. And so now I just use the same process to draw the second window. And that's the second window. Notice that because of the height elevation, that this window is above the horizon line and this window is below the horizon line, and because of that, the lines on this window is slanting downward towards the horizon line, and these ones are slanting upwards. And for this one, we're able to see the upper part of the inside of the window, whereas for this one, we are able to see the lower part of the inside of the window because it's beneath our eye level. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're drawing this second window. And now let's just use that same process to put a window right here and also right here. Okay, and that's it for those windows. Next, let's tackle these windows on the side of the house right here. And these windows are going to be drawn slightly differently. So first I'm going to start by drawing the outermost border of these windows. And next we're just going to draw in these three smaller rectangles within that shape and try to space them as evenly as you can. And next we're just going to draw a thin border going down this way and across this way within each one of these three rectangles. Okay, so this is what's going to add that three-dimensionality. Now we'll just connect that from this corner to this corner with a diagonal line. All right, and now we're just gonna draw in the pieces of wood that goes across the window. Okay, and that's what that looks like. I like to make the middle piece of wood thick and then that horizontal one very thin. And now you can just use the same process to add in the windows right here, and right over here. So just remember to keep the bottom window vertically aligned with the top by lining up your ruler with the edge and marking out where it's supposed to be. Now, even if you happen to have some bush covering the bottom window, just go ahead and draw through that, and we'll overlap it during the shading phase. Okay, so that's what the bottom windows look like. And I actually realized that I made a mistake with these top window right here. We had them drawn like the bottom window with the bottom inside of the window visible, and actually they're supposed to be on top since this window is above eye level, so we're going to be able to see the top of the inside of the window. So go ahead and erase the bottom part and put them up on top here. It's just a minor detail, but you do want to keep your picture perspectively correct. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and draw in the two windows on this side over here. Okay, so there's what the windows look like. One thing to keep in mind is that part of the window on this side is going to be covered up. So we're only going to see a little bit of the third window, and also down here most of it is going to get covered up by this awning. And also because it is in perspective, these windows on this side of the house will be further away, and so they're going to be slightly smaller than these windows right over here. So just keep that in mind and draw these a tiny bit smaller and you should be fine. Okay, so now that we have all the windows drawn in, let's put in the door right here. So once again, the first thing we're going to do is put in the outermost frame of the door. Okay, and now we'll just put a smaller frame within the door. Okay, and now to give it some dimensionality, I'm going to draw a thin border down this way and then going across, and then we'll connect this corner to that corner here. And now let's draw in some pattern for the door itself, and here you can use whatever pattern you want, but I'm basically just going to put in this pattern right here. Okay, so that's my pattern for the door, and I just put in a tiny little mailbox right there. Pretty simple. And let's add in a little doormat right here. Alright. Now let's just put in some light sketches for the front yard. So we'll just create a tiny little path right here. And we'll do a circular brick road. And then the same thing over here. And then we'll just add some light marks here to just represent random things in the yard, grass or little leaves or something. Just add something in there so it doesn't look so vacant. Okay, and lastly, let's go up here and add in that little tiny square up on top. Alright, and that's it. Okay, so that's what our house is going to look like so far.